Welcome! Today we are breaking down the absolute final step in your driving journey here in New Zealand, getting that full driver's license. So, are you ready to finally leave those restrictions in the dust? Let's get right into it.
Are you just completely over having to check the clock before you get in the car? Or, needing a supervisor just to take your mates somewhere? If you're not in your head right now, then this explainer is definitely for you. We're talking about upgrading to a full license and saying goodbye to those conditions for good. So, what is this thing, really? Well, the full license is the finish line. It's the third and final stage in New Zealand's whole licensing system. It's the goal you've been working towards since you first opened up that road code, and it means you've got the experience and the skills to drive safely, all on your own.
Okay, but before you can even think about booking that practical test, there are a few boxes you've got to tick first. So let's take a look at the eligibility requirements just to make sure you're on the right path.
First up is age. The standard minimum age to get your full license is 18. But, and here's a great little pro tip for you, if you complete an approved advanced driving course, like a defensive driving course, you can actually sit the test at 17 and a half.
Now this is where things get really interesting. Just look at how much time you can shave off. If you're under 25, you normally have to hold your restricted for a full 18 months. But with a defensive driving course, that drops down to just 12 months. And if you're 25 or over, it goes from 6 months all the way down to 3. That is a huge difference.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Here's some official advice you'll want to pay attention to. Waka Kotahi themselves have said the test wait times are getting longer. So, what's the bottom line? Be prepared. You really want to pass that thing on your first go so you can avoid a long, frustrating wait for another spot. Okay, so you're eligible and you are ready to book. What happens next? Let's run through a really simple pre-drive checklist to make sure your application and the test day itself go as smoothly as possible.
Right. You'll need to head into a driver licensing agent to get all this sorted. It's actually a pretty straightforward process. You fill out the form, you show them your ID, do a quick little eyesight check, get a new photo snapped, pay the fee, and then you can lock in your test time. Just a heads up, you can book the test online first, but you still have to visit an agent to finish the application before the day of your test.
So let's talk about the cost. The application fee at the moment is $98.90. Now, the really great thing about this fee is that it's not just for your first attempt. It actually includes one free resit. So, if things don't go perfectly on the first try, you've got a second chance already baked in.
On the big day itself, there are a few things you have to bring with you. Make sure you've got your current restricted license card, any glasses or contacts you need for driving, and of course, that advanced driving course certificate if you used it to get your test booked earlier. And hey, it's not just you that has to be ready. Your car does too. It absolutely must have a current warrant of fitness or WAF and registration, the rego, plus an RUC label if it's a diesel or an EV. Also, simple things, right? Make sure there's enough fuel for a 30-minute drive and that the passenger seat is clean for the testing officer. They can't, and they won't, do the test if the car isn't up to scratch.
All right, so you've done all the preparation and now it is time for the main event. Let's break down the 30-minute practical test so you know exactly what's coming when you meet your testing officer.
The whole appointment is only about half an hour long and it's very structured. You'll meet the officer, they'll do a quick safety check on your car, then you'll head out for the actual driving part, and you'll finish up back at the testing center to get your result and some feedback. And that's really the key thing to remember here. The part where you're actually driving and being assessed, it's only about 20 minutes long. So it's not some long, stressful marathon. It's just a focused, 20-minute demonstration of your safe driving skills.
Now, during that 20 minutes, there's one skill in particular that the testing officer will be paying very close attention to, and that's hazard detection. So, what exactly is that?
This is your chance to really show them that you're not just, steering the car, but you are actively thinking about everything happening on the road. The officer will ask you to call out potential hazards, things like a cyclist up ahead, a car about to pull out of a driveway, or kids playing near the road. And then you need to explain what you're doing to manage that risk, like easing off the gas or covering your brake.
So you've finished the drive, you've pulled back into the testing center. This is that moment of truth. Let's look at the possible outcomes and the amazing reward for all your hard work.
Okay, so there are two outcomes, and honestly, both of them are just steps forward. If you pass, amazing! You'll get a temporary paper license right then and there. If you don't pass, the officer will give you really detailed feedback on what you need to work on. And don't forget, you've got that free resit waiting for you.
But let's say you pass. Well, that's it. It's done. All of those restricted license conditions, they are completely gone. And that is an absolutely fantastic feeling of accomplishment.
So what does this new freedom really look like? Well, you can drive whenever you want, day or night. You can finally give your friends a ride without needing a supervisor. And you are officially licensed to drive any vehicle that's covered by a standard Class 1 car license.
Now, with this incredible new freedom comes responsibility, and the single most important one to remember is this. If you're under 20 years old, a zero alcohol limit still applies, even with your full license. There is absolutely no gray area on this one.
You know, getting your full license isn't really the end of your learning journey. It's the beginning of a lifetime of safe driving. So the last question to think about is, now that you have earned all this freedom, what habits are you going to build to make sure you stay a safe driver for life?